Well, hello there, friends. Lucy wants to be in a video today. What? You want to be in a video? No, you just want to sit on my lap. Well, that's not how it works. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the first week of March. I took a couple weeks off. I will talk about that in my next video. For now, all you need to know is I'm here to talk film with you. If you're in the arts world, you might be familiar with STORYHIVE. It's a competition funded by TELUS. Basically, you compete, you get votes. If you get enough votes, you get some funding. STORYHIVE has had a number of different types of competitions, whether it be for a web series, a short film, a music video. And this time around, we're talking about digital shorts. So that is a short film that is digital, I suppose. Some of the categories are a bit strange to me. One of my friends who's taking part in this STORYHIVE competition approached me a few weeks ago and asked me if I would review his film. It's a little bit scary. It's a scary prospect reviewing your friend's film, especially for me because I have this problem where I am always honest. Not that I assumed anything would be wrong with this film. It's a scary thing. The idea of putting your opinion out there and potentially, wounding someone a little bit. The film is called The Good Survivor. It was written and directed by Tito Gillen and put together with his whole Fort McMurray crew, whom I have known for, somewhere between 3 and 5 years. Tito has always been one of my biggest supporters in the arts back when I was working in theater. He's also been incredibly supportive as I've moved into film, and has replied to many of ridiculously late night text of me being like, I don't know how to do this in Final Cut, or how do I fix my fucking green screen issue? So anyway, a review is something that I'm happy to do for you, Tito. And for anyone watching. So like I said, this film is called The Good Survivor, and it's actually centered on a young man who has cerebral palsy, who's kind of fighting to survive the zombie apocalypse. So I think that's probably the coolest element about this film for me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired of zombies, and I'm a huge zombie fan, but it happens. There's a lot of it out there right now. I think that these guys took a really cool angle on the film by considering someone who's differently abled. We all see kind of the regular people who are like fighting through the zombie worlds on shows like The Walking Dead. In fact, I don't know if you could call half of them regular people. Like their hair doesn't grow and they always look clean. And they're like all like physically fit. This film is, as I expected, very well shot. Tito and his team, director of photography Rhett Miller on this piece, they always create work that looks professional. So the film technically is really strong. It's well shot. It's well lit. The special effects makeup is fantastic, as I always expect from Ashley Lawrenson and Steve Reeve. There was a great moment with like a beheaded zombie on a tree. I thought that was really cool, really well done. I will forever be a huge cheerleader of practical effects over any sort of CGI or post whatever effects. Aside from like one wonky audio moment when Dylan and Steve are hanging out around the fire, which I've got to say, as an indie filmmaker, I know what it's like to shoot a film on an incredibly short timeline, and so I can imagine any million things that went wrong to cause that kind of weird audio moment. Did you guys just hear my dog sigh? She just sighed. She's very exhausted by this film review. I think the main element of this film that still needed a little bit of work from my viewpoint is the script itself. Of course, this shouldn't come as any surprise to anyone who knows me. I am a writer first and foremost. I've been a writer since I was 6 years old. I've got 2 creative writing degrees. So even though, yes, I'm a director, yes, I shoot film, I edit film, I can't let go of the script. The script is always, for me, what is going to make or break a film, and it's what's going to carry it along. Like I said earlier, I thought it was super, super cool that these guys kind of took the approach of considering what the zombie apocalypse would be like for someone who's not like a totally physically fit, physically capable human being. I really liked that. I really liked that we were exploring kind of the zombie apocalypse through the experiences of somebody with cerebral palsy. Unfortunately, I feel like the script sort of veered away from that a little too much for my liking. Although it was sort of about Dylan's over here, he's kind of trying to prove everything to Steve. And I feel like ultimately what we got was more backstory about Steve than Dylan, and that sort of was not as interesting to me. I don't care about Steve very much. He's kind of a totally like fit, capable, white dude in the zombie apocalypse. I've seen a lot of Steves in a lot of zombie movies. I wish that we kind of got more on Dylan. From a writing standpoint, I would have preferred to see a flashback about him rather than Steve. In the end, spoiler alert, we do have somebody who returns from Steve's past, and so that, to me, even more so solidifies that what we're seeing is Steve's story and not Dylan's. I would have rather known how Dylan got there than why Steve cared about keeping Dylan alive. And that wasn't entirely clear in and of itself. So I guess one of the main issues for me is that I'm left with a lot of questions. Maybe more than the typical short film should leave the viewer with. It felt like the credits should start with a to be continued. I haven't asked Tito if there is a sequel to this. I haven't asked him if this is gonna end up being a series. That's the impression that I got. And if it's not, kudos, because I do absolutely want to know more. Ashley kind of shows up. We don't know what she's doing. We don't fully know what happened between she and Steve. So I'm intrigued, for sure. I wish I were intrigued about Dylan, though. So that was just where it just felt like not quite enough for me, like not quite satisfying. There's this unique individual going through what has, unfortunately, in the film world become a sort of standard world, the zombie apocalypse. So I think it's really important to highlight that unique point and run with it and not let that get lost. Overall, I've got to say The Good Survivor was a really fun watch. I would like to request to be cast as a zombie head hanging on a tree in the next one. I'm quite frankly offended that I wasn't asked. That's something for between me and my friends. So that is my quick review of The Good Survivor. Please support indie film. Go check out STORYHIVE.com. Watch all of the short films that have gotten funding and vote for your favorites. You're allowed one vote per project per day. My other StoryHive recommendation is Recruiting Hell, written, directed, created by, and worked on by a huge number of my friends. I thought it turned out fantastic. I'll put all of the information in the description of this video. All right, guys, that was fun. It is good to be back in front of my little camera, in front of my little audience. I hope you had fun. I'll be back later this week with a new video. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. I am here almost weekly. I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.